Hello, hello, and welcome to another ohmTown Daily. Today is June 1st, 2023. This is episode 152, season 2, VR Not Worthy. Let's get into the show. I'm no longer doing the rundown, so let's get going. Hello, hello. I am Mayor Watt. That is ohmTown.com, and up there, well, more vertical than that, is the AI. You want to say hi, AI?
Good evening, ohmTown citizens. Happy Thursday.
So, once again, it says that I am unstable. So, let's try something here. And I'll be honest. I've got Diablo playing on my gaming machine right now. This machine, the one that holds the camera and the streaming and everything, is on a different machine altogether. But it is taking up some of my bandwidth, so I guess we'll see. But right after this show, I'm going to be playing Diablo. So, our Diablo 4. It dropped today, early access for those who purchased a certain pack and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, that's what I'm going to be doing tonight.
So are you streaming that?
Yeah. So we'll be streaming. At least, I don't know until whenever, until I stop. But I might be pulling an all-nighter. As mayor of ohmTown, I have to do that hard-hitting work for ohmTown. Yeah. So, hey, a few things have changed between the last show and this show. If somebody out there is listening and there is something wonky with the audio, let me know, because I don't hear what you hear on your side if there is compression and other issues on Twitch. I don't hear that part. Everything going out is perfect, crystal clear. So anyway, so let me introduce you to a few features. I won't go through this every day, but these are brand new. First off, you need to log in, sign up, become a citizen of ohmTown. And then you'll have the ability to swipe left and swipe right. And if you swipe left, you'll save it. And there's other different websites have this feature in their apps, but not really on their website. This is actually part of the website. So you can click on something and then swipe left. Now, it won't work for me because I'm not logged in. It serves no purpose until you're actually a member of ohmTown, a citizen of ohmTown. But you'll be able to swipe it left, and it gets stored in a little repository of saved articles, and it'll show up right here. This menu changes when you log in. And there will be ignored articles as well. Pardon me. So the ignored articles allow you to swipe left and it'll get thrown into saved articles. And you can swipe right and throw saved articles into ignored articles. And then on the front page, all you have to do is swipe left to save, swipe right to ignore, and they go away forever until you decide that you want to pull them back into either saved or leave them in ignored. So you get this little library of articles that you find interesting. Now, the only things that'll be left in ignored are items that you swipe right. Otherwise, it's like two ships passing in the night. You'll never even see them if you don't pay attention to them. So just leave the front page alone and you won't have anything populating your ignore list or your save list. Thought it was a neat feature. So we extended it so that if you are on the front page like we are now, and you click on this little on the actual date, and now every day there's going to be as you scroll back, you'll see that there's the 31st of last month, 30th, etc. as you go back in time. And all you have to do is click on it, and you'll get everything that was aggregated during that day. It's a pretty neat feature. Now, another feature we've added, oh, and you can go back to all of the discussions because these are all discussions. When you click on it, you'll get pulled into a discussion, a forum. Right now it's in Mobile, that's the channel. That's the show that I want to bring to Twitch. So another feature that we added was that you can do the year, month, and day. Now, I have gone back in time and purged the previous 2 years to 2020. So we go back to 2020, but we don't have anything further back, at least not anymore. Um, I I stopped the data retention to 2020. But you can go to any month, any year, any day in history back to 2020, and you'll see articles. There may not be little thumbnails, but there are articles that have been aggregated, and you can click on them. And basically, if you go, I remember a news article from 2020. Maybe it's in there, and you can do a search here, or you can actually click on the day that you think that it might be there. It's hit or miss. Not everything was aggregated at the same level that we have now, and we are growing in what we aggregate. So hopefully every day something new for you, citizens of ohmTown. Okay, all of that long-winded talk is we are enhancing ohmTown.com. Now, there's additional features and functions that are going to be coming. I'm trying to hash out an issue with one module that allows me to gamify ohmTown so that you can earn basically points. We'll figure it out and we'll launch it again. It had been in existence for a little while, but then we stopped. All kinds of stuff is going on behind the scenes. And if you know of something that you would like introduced into ohmTown, feel free. Let's see what else. That's pretty much it. Okay, so today you can also vote on articles. So I already voted, and I like all of these articles, and so I voted that I like all of these articles. You can go over to ohmTown.com/elections and vote for the daily election. And if you go to past-elections, you'll be able to do all of the elections in the, well, since we started, and we started doing this. Wow. May 20th. Time flies. So, and that's it. Ta-da. So, anything going on in the world of the AI, or nope, all work, no play?
No special features or anything. I feel kind of left out.
Oh, well, don't feel too neglected. 1 second. Okay. So let's get into today's articles. This first article is actually over in the Rounders Gear channel, and that has to do with not tabletop gaming like you would think. It has to do with table gaming like poker. Yeah, I'll just leave it like that. So it had been a project that I created potentially for someone, and one thing led to another, and the idea for this whole channel is to talk about sports, like gambling, that style of thing. And I was really into equipment. So trying to find the best that could be, and even had my own poker chips struck, and it was a great little project. Well, it turned into a channel that could talk about table gaming. And then we came across this because we started aggregating news about table gaming. The title of this is Maryland License Plates Feature Website that Directs to Philippines Online Casino.
Okay, and for those of you who are from outside the US, Maryland is a US state, so I'm not quite sure of the connection between Maryland and Philippines,
Yeah. Um,
among
so
other things.
down here at the bottom of every Maryland license plate, at least this breed of license plate, there's a website, www.starspangled200.org. And that website, when you go to it, actually, well, should I show them? No, I'll let you.
I don't think so.
I'll let you go there. In fact, I'm going to do this. Let me throw this into chat. Let me throw the past elections URL into chat, and this Maryland one into chat. One second. Okay. So when you click that, you get taken over to a website that has to do with gambling. It shouldn't do this, but they didn't renew it. So this really, if unless you want somebody else to take advantage of it, this needed to be renewed in perpetuity.
Well, especially since don't you keep a license plate pretty much forever if you continue to re-register your car? So all these drivers are advertising for Philippine gambling?
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's exactly what they say. There's a little quote here. I was never a fan of a plate celebrating the War of 1812, but I'm even more upset now that I and tons of other Marylanders are driving advertisements for international online gambling, a post on Reddit said. Yeah. So, quite fascinating. Now, this was $10 a year. All they could have pointed it at a dead page, just a holding page, a nothing. It could not point anywhere, and it would be dramatically better than what they've just accomplished.
Agreed. Do you think that the state cut that item from the budget or something? I mean, it's not a high cost, clearly, but
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Yeah, so it says now the website tries to lure visitors into signing up with a Philippines online casino website. Online gambling remains prohibited in Maryland, but people aged 21 and older inside the state can place a legal sports bet online.
Okay, wait, that's even funnier.
Yeah. So here's the timeline. Now, we don't normally have this much of the article, but I guess the aggregator, they offer up a lot. And so the aggregator accepted that data. In 2011, the website directed to the official online home of the Maryland War of 1812 Bicentennial Commission. An archive version for 2020 showed that the website was in the federal government's hands as the site directed to the National Park Service Star Spangled Banner Historic Trail. Now, between then and now, it's been redirected to. I didn't do any due diligence on this, so I didn't go hunting to see who actually is the registered owner of this, and maybe it's been hacked or something like that. But let me check. We'll do it live while here. I'm really curious. Yeah, so Star Spangled 200.
Oh wow. Did you notice that there are almost 800,000 vehicles that have that plate?
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, so they're advertising this.
That's something that's contrary to state law. I love it.
Yep. Oh, so the identity is being masked, but it's Arizona. I think it. Well, they really redacted like the registrant's name, so there's no guarantee that even that information is valid. But somebody is obviously benefiting from this. 800,000 people are advertising. Now, there could be a case for clawing this back from the new registrant, but I guess we will see. I'll keep an eye on this and we'll see what happens. Not much more to go, but let's take a look at the source of this. This is from casino.org, and Devin O'Connor is the author of this article. In what will be one of the more bizarre stories published on casino.org this year, officials in Maryland say a URL that's printed on nearly 800,000 state-issued license plates directs visitors to an online casino platform based in the Philippines. Yep.
That is a bizarre article.
More than 200 years in the making, this advertising is kind of the long tail of gambling, I guess. It's weird. They took a gamble in 1812, and now somebody is gambling in 2023. So, go ahead.
I guess they could just discover that it was dead, right, by searching for that domain or something. But
yeah,
that's a fairly specific domain, so I don't know. Makes you wonder if they had some inside scoop.
Yeah, this actually screams that somebody in the know registered this, because what on earth? Like, this does not. Star Spangled 200 makes no sense. So
Right, and it doesn't clearly tie to Philippine gambling. I'm not saying it doesn't, but not on the surface.
Yeah, but it has no relevance to anything other than this specific thing. What other tertiary events would be coined Star Spangled 200? So anyway, let's move on to the next article. This next article is in the ohmTown Daily Show. That's this show, but it's also a channel over on ohmTown. A Toyota EV drove 1,200 miles without stopping to charge thanks to electric roads with wireless charging. Electrion, a startup, drove an electric Toyota for 1,206 miles straight without charging. The secret? An innovative wireless charging system embedded under the asphalt. Electrion says its electric roads solve range anxiety and the need for huge EV batteries. Imagine driving an electric car without ever needing to stop and recharge. Sounds like witchcraft. No, it sounds like wireless charging, like an Ultra Qi charger. Let's go over to Business Insider and Tim Levin, who wrote this article. I've heard of Electrion before. If I remember right, they have a prototype road somewhere.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was at their own facility or something.
Yeah, if I recall
Although
correctly,
1,200 miles is pretty significant, but
yeah, they could be driving around in a circle. But pardon me one second. So, Electrion, an Israeli startup, founded in 2013, is developing electric roadways that can charge moving vehicles wirelessly, potentially eliminating the need for lengthy pit stops or plugging in. To demonstrate the tech's potential, Electrion drove an electric Toyota for 1,207 miles. The article gets a little bit more specific, apparently. Rounding up this time. Straight on a test track that had its wireless charging coils embedded under the asphalt. That's about 5 times farther than a normal EV can drive on a full charge. Now, if it has both, right, the
Oh, like a
coils,
regular battery or whatever.
yeah. Otherwise, I'm going to have off the road anxiety anyway, because if I'm not charging, then I'm draining a battery, and if I take it for granted that there's a charger somewhere or that this road extends wherever I'm going, I'm going to run out of battery regardless. So I think it's great, but it had better be backed up, not just with this coil system, but also it better have a real battery that gives me at least 350 miles. Go ahead.
So only 25% of the track was electrified. That's really fascinating to me.
Yeah, even at highway speeds, an electric road can deliver more energy than a vehicle consumes. Limited range and inconvenient charging are two of the biggest hurdles keeping. Yeah, so I guess as it's driving, it's kind of getting a jolt of electricity to charge. I wonder, though, if you walk over it with
That's
something
what
that has an electric coil.
I was wondering what would prevent it from harming people or animals walking on the road, but maybe it's activated by something in the car.
Yeah, some smart device. Because that's how it works with Qi chargers, smart chargers, wireless chargers in general. There's normally something that as you approach it, it activates. There's always a sender and a receiver. I actually have this for a project, for wireless lighting, and for another project that's actually sitting right there. I've been hinting about releasing this product, but I keep stalling. Anyway, it's sitting right there, wanting to be shown to the public, but I haven't done it yet. Anyway, another big pro, the dynamic wireless charging. According to Electrion, EVs don't need huge, expensive, environmentally taxing batteries. Environmentally taxing batteries to travel long distances. They still do. I'm telling you, this, you can't have just this. Otherwise, it's basically you are a four-wheeled train and you're stuck on the track, and if you deviate too far too long, according to this, it says it would only have around 46 miles range.
No. Which is worse than regular.
Yeah, that means that you have 46 miles to reach a destination that has the ability to charge you up enough to get another 46 miles. Otherwise, you're DOA.
Well, hopefully you're not in an area where the cities are more than 46 miles away, like in the western United States.
Yeah, you're basically shoehorning vehicles into wherever you decide to put this road. And fine, do mass transit. You're basically doing that anyway if you have like a subway or what are the cars on the top?
Like a metro?
Yeah, I guess like an electric metro, basically buses. But anyway,
like trolley cars, maybe.
Trolley, yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Thanks. Yeah, this is just too limited, at least in my perception. Let's see. Let me throw this into chat. There you go. Okay. And there isn't much more to this article, and they get into some greater detail about car options. $140,000 Lucid that could drive on this and stuff like that. But
Which is very accessible to most people.
that's why I mentioned it. Yep. Here, let's move on to the next article. I actually have 12 articles today. So let's hustle through this. I'm gonna have to clean up this article because the aggregator grabbed. Well, it gets provided stuff. It doesn't grab anything. But anyway, this article is in the Warcrafters channel. InWind's clever modular PC case can quickly spiral into your very own behemoth. This InWind is a PC case maker. Let's just go straight over to the source. Jacob Ridley over at PCGamer.com put the article together. It says you can build a very personal piecemeal PC chassis with InWind's mod-free system. So let me go back to... it's basically some pictures, but they were at Computex 2023, which I don't know if it's over now. Anyway, this case is pretty fascinating because you can actually extend its capabilities, but for what, I'm not quite sure. I like the idea of one thing that I saw. It says there are a few key bits making up the mod-free system. The Mod I module, or maybe it's a 1, I don't know. It looks like it's a 1. Mod 1 module comes with a motherboard tray, rear fan mount, PCI cutouts for the main core of a PC. That can be paired up with the Mod 2, which houses the PSU. Then there's the Mod 3, which has options for a graphics card, masses of storage, liquid cooling, or 3 fans. Combined, you get a large ATX PC chassis, though you can ditch the Mod 3 for a smaller case. Now, I find this really interesting. Let's go through the pictures. So here, you can modify it and add this module on here, and this one here, and this one here, and basically create a beast of a machine. And apparently you can put it in different configurations. I find it kind of interesting. But the thing that I like about this is that I could bolt it onto a wall. I think that's not what they actually... That's not a design thing. They did this for the display. But I would love to be able to have a thinner PC and just bolt it onto the wall without having it all,
like underfoot and
yeah. But then you still have to deal with the cables and stuff like that anyway. And if you come into ohmTown's office, it's basically a nightmare of anyway, so I just started something that I really wish I didn't do. Anyway, so InWind's modular PC case looks like it might be fun. So let's go on to the next. Let's go on to the next article. This next article is over in ohmTown Daily at ohmTown.com. Banking giant JP Morgan advertised more than 3,600 AI-related jobs, according to a report, as Wall Street starts to embrace the revolutionary tech. This is over at Business Insider. Pretty fascinating. 3,651 jobs.
that's really surprising to me. I would think companies, particularly like in banking, which I don't think of as being extremely progressive, like I think they'd have like one AI job.
Yeah, this is pretty spectacular. Now, it's globally, but the data comes from a consultancy named Evident, with AI-related hires defined as data engineers and quants, as well as ethics and governance roles. I love this. I would love to get into AI more, but I basically skim the surface of a whole lot of topics and don't really do a deep dive because you have to focus quite a bit. And there's always somebody that's much more passionate about a particular topic than me, because I like that holistic understanding of things. So JP Morgan is leading the way in Wall Street's shift to AI. Bloomberg reported data from Evident shows it advertised 3,651 AI-related jobs in 3 months. Insider understands the bank recently filed a patent application for its own AI software. Pretty amazing. Pete Sim or Sim, maybe their name is Sim, wrote this article for BusinessInsider.com. Only 3 months. That's a lot. I wonder if they say how much the jobs are paying. The data reportedly shows that at the most enthusiastic banks, 40% of all open roles are related to the booming technology of AI. It comes after JP Morgan filed a patent application for an AI software called Index GPT. It's probably just a fully licensed version of Chat GPT. Maybe not. Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley have also been experimenting with generative AI, with the former using it to generate code and the latter for financial advice. On Wednesday, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink said the world's largest asset manager is spending huge amounts of time on AI. AI for financial evaluation has been around for a long time. The guy that started voice translation, so you basically speak into a microphone and it would take your voice and turn it into text. So the creator of text to speech, or the other way around, speech to text. Can't remember what his name is right now, but he used to run a company, or had a company called Fat Cats, which did high frequency trading based off of AI analyzed data. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Yeah, sorry, I'm looking, but I can't find it.
Yeah, I'd have to do some bigger searches. This is kind of hard for me to do on the fly. Anyway, so I'm not surprised that AI would be doing, or I should say companies would be leaning into AI. That's pretty much where it's at, because only an AI can really parse the amount of information that's being fed into the system. And the only other way would be word of mouth, which is damn near insider trading. At every communication, there's this threat of it being artificial insider trading. So all of these banks are going to be shifting over to AI. That kind of answers a question that I had about someone recently, and so maybe they saw the writing on the wall in relation to software development and artificial intelligence basically coming to take their job.
By the way, were you looking for Dr. James Baker?
Nope.
Okay, never mind.
No, that's okay. Let's move. Let's jump on to the next article. We've got quite a few articles to talk about. Let's see here. Did I put them all in there? No, one of them's missing. Oh, this one, really? I guess I didn't throw that into the chat. Weird. Okay, well, anyway. Let's go on to the next article. No Man's Sky. This is pretty neat. Late Night Geeks channel, No Man's Sky launches on Mac starting today. That's right. You can now play No Man's Sky. So I guess for me, I think I put the title for this segment as Yes, Max Sky. I thought it was funny in my head. British video game company Hello Games announced today that No Man's Sky is launching on Macs today. The action-adventure survival game is available for Macs using Steam now and will be coming to the Mac App Store shortly. On Steam, the game will be free if you already own the PC version, so no double dipping. That's tremendous. That's very rare. The official launch comes as Hello Games announced last year at Apple's Worldwide Developer Conference that No Man's Sky would eventually launch on Macs. Now, a few days before this year's WWDC event, they're talking about it rolling out. Now, let's wait on this because I think I nixed the article. Yeah, I'll mention it now then, because I think that if I did nix it, then we'll talk about it, or I'll just remove the other article. But there's rumors now that this No Man's Sky, because it already has virtual reality capabilities, that it's going to be one of the apps available for the Apple mixed reality headset.
Interesting.
Huh.
I didn't see an article to that effect.
Yeah, so it says down here at the bottom, given that Apple is expected to announce its mixed reality headset at WWDC next week, the tech giant's device will likely eventually support the game. But I have read in other places that, yeah, maybe that's why it's available right now. The article is over at TechCrunch.com by Aisha Malik. Now, if you've never played No Man's Sky, you really should go and get it. You're in for a treat. It's this massive universe, and it's really big because you can actually, it's kind of like there's massively multiplayer, and then there's this, because there's so many worlds in this universe that everybody on the planet could have probably about 1,000 of them, and you'd still not hit the limit that is the number of worlds generated for this. But it all has fantastic colors and flora and fauna, and there's a storyline that permeates the Omniverse, and it's a lot of fun. And I've always thought that this was my forever game, No Man's Sky. But what I ended up happening with me was I stopped playing the storyline, and all I wanted to do was catalog everything on a world and then go off to the next world. But there's so much on the world that you just never leave that world. And so I kind of got bogged down in the obsessive nature of cataloging everything. And I don't think that that's really exciting for streaming. But then again, ASMR is a thing, so maybe anything is a thing. And that's actually what I tell people. If you're passionate about something, you're charismatic, and you want to stream, there's going to be an audience for you. Maybe I'm not charismatic. Anyway, so the official launch comes as Hello Games announced last year at Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference that No Man's Sky would come to Macs. Dun dun dun. It's been around since 2016.
So are there other games that are in Steam that are on Apple? Because I thought that was all for PC.
There are games that are on Steam that are on Apple, or for the Apple platform. Yeah. Obviously not as many as the PC, but there's also Linux and things that are built specifically for the Steam Deck, which is different than the Stream Deck. surprised that's not in a lawsuit yet. But anyway, pretty cool. Let's go on to the next article. Unless you want to talk about the other stuff.
No.
Okay, so this next article is in the Mobile channel. Train carrying hazardous materials becomes allergic to its track and flings itself off in northwest Minnesota. No?
Okay, do you remember what you just said? I think it was yesterday.
About?
Like, we haven't seen any train articles recently. It might have been a couple days ago.
I thought you were going to make mention of the fact that I augmented that title. So here, let me say the correct title. Train carrying hazardous materials derails in northwest Minnesota. So a train carrying hazardous materials derailed in northwest Minnesota Wednesday afternoon, but officials say that there were no injuries and no immediate signs of leaking vapor or liquids. Okay, well, maybe it was well fortified, right? At least 24 cars were derailed, some of which contained flammable liquid, but none of it escaped the cars, according to Lancaster Fire Department. And I'm sure that Palestine is just fine right now. Let's go over to the article. It's at The Hill. Sarah Fortinsky is the author of this. And it says at around 1600 tonight, LFD responded to a train derailment along Highway 59. Approximately 27 cars. Wait, how many?
I think the number went up.
It did. Yeah. So 27 cars derailed, some of which were carrying flammable liquid NOS. It stayed confined within the cars. No injuries have been reported. And we are all safe at home, apparently, for the evening. Well, that's nice.
Let's just let the train derailment just sit there.
So hold on. NOS is used when the chemical's name does not specifically appear in the HMT.
Oh no. Doesn't that suggest it's some awful chemical that they don't even really use commonly?
Because I was looking, what is that acronym? I don't know what that is.
I was wondering about that too.
And so it says not otherwise specified. So what is it? What is it? Okay. I can't get into this. I mean, this is a rabbit hole that you'll just get lost going down.
That could be another episode in itself, I'm sure.
Right? Hold on a second. I mean, it's not nitrous oxide, is it?
No, it could be something like ethyl alcohol or ethanol. And so it might be listed as like alcohol NOS or flammable liquid NOS. Another example given is like poisonous liquid NOS. So, which I don't know what that would be, but anyway.
Yeah, because that phrase, like if it was just nitrous oxide, then it would be
NO2.
Well, I mean, they actually call it NOS.
Or write it out, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway. So yet again, another train becomes allergic to its tracks and flings itself off. Let's jump onto another track. So this next article, the reason why I called today's episode VR Not Worthy is because there's a lot of VR related materials coming out, and I find it quite fascinating that on the eve of WWDC and the launch of potentially a VR headset, there's a lot of hype, and Apple isn't casting aside that hype in any way. So Assassin's Creed VR full reveal coming July 12th at Ubisoft. Or Ubisoft. Ubisoft Forward. I like saying Ubisoft. Now, this is from Road to VR. Although we didn't get a first look at Ubisoft's VR take on Assassin's Creed during Meta's Big Quest gaming showcase today, the studio says that it should watch, or that they should, or we should watch out next week for the full reveal. I nixed other articles about the Quest gaming showcase because, well, I want to put pressure on the industry to make games accessible to more platforms than just the insular and obsessively monitoring Meta anything. And so I my bias is real, but I'm obvious about it. I'm very straightforward about it. The articles are still in ohmTown, and I talk about them just like I'm talking now here on the show. But I think that companies and we should talk as consumers and try and promote VR to get adopted across a greater swath than just one platform. Exclusivity aside, that drives me nuts because then you have to spend $1,000 to get into somebody else's platform. When it's the same software, it just seems to be that it gets penned into one vertical. So anyway, meanwhile, today's announcement of an announcement about when something's going to be talked about confirmed for the first time that a previous leak was true, claiming that the game would indeed be called Nexus, or rather Assassin's Creed Nexus VR. So I'm all over this if it comes to PC, because I'm not going to be buying Meta's equipment just to play one game. Although I'm into VR. Huh?
The only reason that was submitted is because I didn't know if there would be other platforms that those games would come to.
Now, eventually they will, because the exclusivity deal may have a term limit, and so they'll be able to kick it over to Epic or Ubisoft's own loader or to Steam. It would be best for everybody to get a bite at that apple, but hey, Apple, Apple too. That would be great. Anyway, the leaked video included a number of mission-related texts which could point to the game being set as a smorgasbord of iconic eras visited across the franchise. And they have some text in this article. I'll let you go over and check it all out. But I think that it's really neat that VR is still growing. There's a lot of people that say that it's just this niche kind of thing. It's a tchotchke. It isn't going to really grab hold of anything. But I think as we make things more real and fantastical in that real environment, we become more and more interested in it. So it's kind of like I nixed a story that I really wanted to include it, but it's about the whole coming of age story. It had to do with a ballet dancer who goes to Paris, but it has to do with witchcraft and wizardry. It's basically Harry Potter. Harry Potter was gritty and based in reality, but then pushed up, kind of punched up with magic and all of this kind of stuff. But at the foundation of Harry Potter, it was more about relationships and coming into your own, right? Understanding who you are and your place in the world. Although Harry Potter was a little bit tainted in that I won't get into it. This is a long conversation. But there's a whole discussion about the fact that he's nothing more than a jock who already had money already had innate talent. Didn't really have a care in the world, but also basically the Batman kind of ideal where he lost his parents and had no family that you could speak of. Anyway, that's a side discussion. I don't know how I ended up on it, but the fact that we can punch things up and make reality and standard reality, virtual reality, and fantastic means that more people are going to get pulled into it. I think that that's great. And I think that's what everybody should be developing towards. But a lot of this stuff comes out kind of cartoony in VR. I got it.
Well, I think it goes to cost accessibility, and
Sure.
Meta is just announced that I think it was going to be down to like $299 for the.
Yeah.
So maybe that starts expanding people's use of VR, which could help overall, even though that is platform specific.
Yeah. Now, I agree. So, yeah, I have to accept it for what it is. Anything that gets more people interested in VR, I think, is a win. Let's go on to the next article. According to this article, a fake moon has been following Earth around the sun since 100 BC, and astronomers just noticed. It's kind of like looking in your rearview mirror and there's something stalking you.
It reminds me of the Beep Beep song.
Oh, yeah. Beep, 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 beep. The car went beep, beep, beep. You have to look that car up, and I can't remember what it's called. It might be called Beep, 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 Beep. So, an asteroid has been trailing Earth around the sun since 100 BC, according to astronomers' estimates. The rock at first appears to be another moon, but it's actually orbiting the sun and not Earth, what makes this asteroid a quasi-moon or fake moon. So scientists first discovered the space rock called 2023 FW13 in March using the Pan-STARRS Observatory in Hawaii. So let's go over to Business Insider and Morgan McFall Johnson. Oh, so the song is called Beep Beep by the Playmates in 1960. Look it up, folks. I can't play it because I'll get taken offline. Anyway, so yeah, I guess this fake moon has been stalking Earth since 100 BC. It's aliens.
What I can't figure out is how astronomers didn't know about it.
Well, we can only see like 1% of the sky, you know. And then we have to point something somewhere, and it's just this little sliver. So I think it's like 1 arc second or something like that. It's really minuscule, and we're just constantly looking, but it's a massive sky out there. So, let's see. Yeah, I don't know. There isn't much more to this article. For reference, okay, so the asteroid is roughly 20 meters long, which is about the size of a semi-truck, and it comes within about 9 million miles of Earth at the closest point of its path, according to Space.com. For reference, the moon, the one we all know and love, is about 238,855 miles away, so it's unlikely to hit Earth. I don't know. Never say never. But so now you know why they didn't notice it. Because it's... Wait, did they actually just use that again? Oh, a semi-truck. I thought they were going to say bus. And then we have a standard unit of measure.
Oh, right. Like we did when we had the weather balloon incidents.
Oh, you mean spy balloons. They weren't weather balloons.
Spy balloons. Sorry, yes.
Spy weather balloons.
Uh-oh, I must have been getting some propaganda
And aliens.
into my programming.
They were aliens. Let's go on to the next article. So, revisiting something that's kind of permeating ohmTown, plastic containers still distributed across the United States are a potential health disaster. consumer groups are condemning the Environmental Protection Agency for allowing plastic containers made with toxic PFAS, or forever chemicals, to continue being distributed across the, it says, economy, even though the agency is suing a top manufacturer over the dangerous compounds leaching into containers' contents, such as food and personal care products. The groups are now intervening in a lawsuit and regulatory proceedings between the EPA and Enhanced Technologies, which they estimate produces about 200 million PFAS contaminated plastic containers annually. That's phenomenal. This is known horrible.
Exactly. Well, and then I did look ahead at this, but look at what the items are. They hold food.
Oh, wow. So this is a Guardian article, theguardian.com. Tom Perkins is the author of this. Wow. I had no idea. So how do we know? Does it say anywhere in the article how we can find out that the items are being stored in
I
these?
don't I don't think they're labeled. I don't know. I haven't read the article. I just glanced at it to see what type of products were covered.
Yeah. So these horrible chemicals called per and polyfluoroalkyl substances basically leach their chemicals into whatever it is that they're storing. Um, and they're called forever chemicals because of that. They stay forever. And once they're in you, they're in you. Um, Now, the full extent of the damage that can be done by these PFAS uh, chemicals is unknown. But like plastic, I think that it's a threat that's building, and we won't know until it's pretty disastrous. So it says here, it's a serious and ongoing threat to public health, said Bob Sussman, an attorney representing the consumer groups. It involves not only the demonstrated hazards of the PFAS that are in the containers, but the huge number of containers and their economy-wide uses. Basically, using these chemicals makes it cheaper because there's so many of these chemicals that it lowers the cost instead of having to go out and get new chemicals to produce these plastic goods without PFAS. And you can certainly make non-PFAS contaminated plastic. Now, then you have to speak on the point of microplastics in general. So, as I keep saying to people, we all need to shift back to glass. We need to find mechanisms that allow us to strengthen the glass so that it's not as easily broken when dropped. But that's different mills of glass that exist that strengthen it. And you can put more natural fibers around it, like hemp nets, thick hemp nets, easier to grip them, etc., protect against breakage, and limit the breakage if it is dropped because there's basically a hemp net around it. So, oh no, sorry. And we're not going to get away from PFAS until regulation says it's now going to cost you too much to keep doing it this way. And we're not going to get away from plastic until society says this is too damaging to our children's children. And that's usually the thing. The trigger here is usually the children. We have to protect the children from these harmful chemicals. So we're moving towards that, but we'll see when this actually happens. PFAS, by the way, are a class of about 15,000 chemicals, often used to make products resistant to water, stains, heat, but they are linked to, at low levels, to cancer, thyroid disease, kidney dysfunction, birth defects, autoimmune disease, and other serious health problems, all according to this article, which is based on evidence from prior research. So they're called forever chemicals because they do not naturally degrade in the environment. They are there forever. And then when you imbibe something that has PFAS in it, now it's in you. and it has the potential to cause all kinds of harm to us biologicals. So there's a whole lot more in this article. I urge you to go and take a look at it. Did I? How many articles back am I? My gosh.
We're pretty early. I think we're on about 5, maybe 4.
So that's the Ubisoft one. Okay. Sorry, folks. I'll figure this out. Over 500 episodes into it, and it's still quirky. Okay. So let's move on to the next article. And here's another VR article. This is in the Reality Hacker channel. Stranger Things VR to release on major VR headsets this fall. A new gameplay trailer is here. Things are about to get a little stranger this year with MetaQuest Gaming Showcase today because included a new look at Stranger Things VR, the upcoming psychological horror title coming to major VR headsets. It's also coming a little earlier than the winter 2023 release date previously mentioned at last year's debut. Let's go over to Road to VR. Apparently, you can become 11, and that's the person in Stranger Things, not age 11. She's number 11. So let's see here. Experience the world of Stranger Things from the never-before perspective of Vecna as he explores unknown realities, forms the hive mind, and enacts his plan for revenge against Eleven and Hawkins. Players will invade the dreams and memories of fan-favorite characters and harness telekinetic powers to possess minds and battle creatures as Henry Creel's transformation into Vecna and his influence on the events of prior seasons is revealed. So you get to play the monster, not the heroes from the show.
Well, that's kind of fun.
Yeah. There's a video here. Go and check it out. This seems like it would be a lot of fun in VR. It depends on how cartoony it is. What I see here seems kind of animated. So take it for what it's worth. It might be a fun story. Let's throw this into chat and we'll go on to the next article. We do have 12 of them today, but only 2 more left. The AI threw an error.
I didn't know we were that far into the articles. We've been moving along pretty quickly.
Yeah, we're there's a plan. Okay, so let's go on to the next article. This article here is in Late Night Geeks. Walmart to drop plastic mailers and let customers bring their own bags to order pickup. In a nutshell, Walmart is now getting rid of its plastic shipping bags and going au naturel. Sarah Perez over at TechCrunch.com wrote this article. And they're moving away from plastic bags. So Walmart announced this morning that it'll be reducing plastic across its e-commerce operations in a number of ways, including shifting from plastic mailers to recyclable paper bag mailers, and allowing customers to decline the use of plastic shopping bags for their online pickup orders, among other things. It will also introduce an option for customers shopping online to request their items be consolidated into fewer boxes to reduce waste.
Okay, what I like about this is obviously Walmart does a ton of business and has a ton of customers. And I think the fact that they're taking steps to get away from plastic will have effects at their competitors. Positive effects.
Yeah, I think as more people shift away from plastic mailers and bags and whatnot, then what ends up happening is the solutions that they all pivot to become cheaper, because they'll be more mass produced. Instead of being exotic solutions, they'll now be the standard. So Walmart estimates the changes to the mailers alone will eliminate 65 million plastic bag mailers, or more than 2,000 tons of plastic from circulation in the US by the end of the current fiscal year. So halfway through the year.
I mean, that's really great.
Now, it only applies to Walmart online orders and fulfillment centers, plus any other orders shipped with Walmart fulfillment services. So if they roll it out to the stores, which this is just the baby step towards that, and they start mandating that people bring their own bags and stuff like that, then it'll eliminate even more so. Coupled with the idea of putting some punitive measures in PFAS and publicly talking more about microplastics, there could be a real a seismic shift in what's going on with our embracing of plastics. Obviously, for some goods, it's going to be damn near impossible. Electronics, for instance, I don't know of any solution. There might be some natural solutions for bezels and other bracing other than metal, right? Metal is heavy, it's expensive to form and produce. Monitors basically have a metal sheet inside that brace them, but the rest is all plastic. A little bit of glass thrown in. At any rate, so let's see. Yeah, you don't have to use single-use plastic grocery bags. They've already tested that, and they'll probably be rolling that out next year. I'd say that they're going to start the process of store-wide elimination of plastic bags as well, which is fine with me. Once you invest in reusable bags, it becomes a piece of cake. Just show up with the requisite number of bags that you are estimating that you're going to use. Bring 2 or 3 more, and you're good. Anyway, there's again still more at this article as well. So let's throw that into chat, and you can check that out whenever you get a chance. So yeah, they have this little Walmart picture in a big old plastic bin sitting right next to it.
That's pretty funny.
That was pretty funny. Okay, let's go on to the last article for tonight. So this is in the wanted channel, but it really should be in the unwanted channel. But we have a show that I'm planning called Wanted, which is all about gadgets and doohickeys that we all want. And this title is going to make everybody very, very nervous, and you should be nervous because millions of PC motherboards were sold with a firmware backdoor embedded in it. Hiding malicious programs in a computer's UEFI firmware, the deep-seated code that tells a PC how to load its operating system, has become an insidious trick in the toolkit of stealthy hackers. But when a motherboard manufacturer installs its own hidden backdoor in the firmware of millions of computers and doesn't even put a proper lock on that hidden back entrance, they're practically doing hackers' work for them. So let's go over to Ars Technica, where this was aggregated from, and it involves the company Gigabit. Hidden code in many gigabyte motherboards invisibly and insecurely downloads programs. So Gigabyte is a huge manufacturer of motherboards. Andy Greenberg from Wired.com wrote this article, but it's published at arstechnica.com. What's written here is researchers at firmware-focused cybersecurity company Eclipsium revealed today that they've discovered a hidden mechanism in the firmware of motherboards sold by the Taiwanese manufacturer Gigabyte, whose components are commonly used in gaming PCs and other high-performance computers. So apparently when a Gigabyte motherboard restarts, Eclipsium found code within the motherboard's firmware invisibly initiates an updater program that runs on the computer and in turn downloads and executes another piece of software.
Yeah, that's really scary.
It's like this side-loading program. Let's see. Eclipsium says the hidden code is meant to be an innocuous tool to keep the motherboard's firmware updated. Researchers found that it's implemented insecurely, potentially allowing the mechanism to be hijacked and used to install malware instead of Gigabyte's intended program. And because the updater program is triggered from the computer's firmware outside its operating system, it's tough for users to remove or even discover. True. Let's see. Eclipsium lists 271 models of Gigabyte motherboards that researchers say are affected. There has to be a number. How many of these? I'd say every single one. So if you have a motherboard that's from Gigabyte, you might be affected. The updater installed by the mechanism in Gigabyte's firmware is configured to be downloaded from a local network-attached storage device, a feature that appears to be designed for business networks to administer updates without all of the machines reaching out to the internet. But Eclipsium warns that in those cases, a malicious actor on the same network could spoof the location of the NAS, network-attached storage device, to invisibly install their own malware. Got it. So if somebody is actually monitoring the network, they could probably see where this random ping to an IP address is, and then inquire at that. Just you basically map the network and try to access various locations. And if it shows up as a NAS, you could spoof that IP address. It depends on the security of the network. But there's a really good chance that you could maliciously upload UB, the repository for that software, whatever it's asking for. Probably have to know some insider information about it to get it done. But yeah, this does not bode well for the security of anything that has Gigabyte attached to it.
Do we know? I don't think it said how long these have been impacted.
It says here, no, just 271 models. Yeah. I thought maybe that 2018 date, but it was referencing something else. And they mentioned something else from the mid 2000s, Sony rootkit, which probably doesn't have anything to do with this, but
Right, I think that's just another instance of a similar issue.
yeah, maybe I can find out some more. I'll do some digging and see. But found that really interesting. Okay, folks. I am gonna have to get out of here. Like right now. I need to go and do something. And yeah, the mayor's work is never done. But then I'm gonna be back and I will be streaming a new character. I'm gonna start over from scratch, even though I have another one that I'm playing. I'll be playing Diablo 4, maybe all night. I might pull an all-nighter and see what happens, because I'd like to keep going. And there's quite a few people who are playing, so hopefully I can actually get back on, because while I was streaming, I got disconnected. That was my exclamation of "oh no!" That was me watching the connection drop.
Oh no.
So now I might be in a queue for a couple of hours. So I guess we'll see what happens. I'll try and get back into it right now. At any rate, I have a task I need to go do, and then I will be back. So be sure to follow. Go over to YouTube. Watch some of the videos over there. Like and subscribe. Ring the bell. Download the podcast. We're everywhere. There's a Discord. I'm going to start adding content to the Discord, and there's a Patreon as well that's active, but it's really just about supporting ohmTown in a different way than Twitch alone. But I'm more interested in you becoming a follower here on Twitch. Um, and yeah, come and hang out. It would be great to see you here. I need to throw that other article into, man, I need to throw that last article into the chat too. But don't worry, all of this will be in the show notes. And just like every single time we do a stream nowadays, all you have to do is go to ohmTown.com. It'll automatically load up the latest news. But then at the end of the show, we do the same thing. We click on that little that welcoming logo of ohmTown, because when you're at ohmTown, you're home. It is your hometown, ohmTown. And we're getting a ton of news. It's just phenomenal. I think we had 800 headlines between yesterday and today. Actually, since midnight, we had over 800 articles.
Well, we do get a lot in the middle of the week, but that's even a high number for them.
Yeah. So the AI just said that it's several years worth of motherboard related security issues with that gigabyte backdoor. Wow. That's why nothing should have a backdoor. Nothing ever should have a backdoor. Because somebody's going to find it and unlock it. And I hate the idea of Apple being forced to install a backdoor for its encryption for law enforcement, because we have stories about law enforcement abusing their authority to do exactly that, to spy on people and whatever. So anyway, no backdoors. Just no. It's like sneakers, too many secrets, you know?
That's right.
I don't want anything being able to open up backdoors in anything. Okay, so let's see here. So Meta's going to require employees to return to the office 3 days a week starting in September. God, it's so stupid. Everybody in the 21st century realizes that if you can do the work in an office and you're not sitting there doing anything physical, you know, all you're doing is working with people, you can be on camera at home. There's camaraderie. Yes, I get it. But we can evolve to feel camaraderie even though we voluntarily come into the office periodically to schmooze with each other, rub elbows and say yo, water cooler talk and all of that kind of stuff.
So also Twitter trust and safety head has resigned.
There was one?
I didn't realize there was one because I thought that person had already been ousted. But
yeah, I thought so too. Let's see. A new
Diablo 4 class performing in the race to level 100.
Yeah, there's a race for hardcore, 1,000 people, hardcore 100. If you make it to 100 and you're within the first 1,000 people, you get your name on a Lilith statue. The AI is just kind of like, yeah, okay.
No, that relates to one of the other articles we did.
Yeah, correct. Apple engineers looking for engineers to work with generative AI in a mixed reality environment. Look at that, man. It's just nonstop. Y'all, if you're not paying attention to AI and you're in a high-tech field, you are way behind. Okay. Well, that's it, folks. I am Mayor Watt. That is ohmTown.com, and up there is the AI's visualizer. The AI is in ohmTown somewhere. You want to say bye?
Sure. Good night, ohmTown citizens. Enjoy playing Diablo 4.
Everybody is playing Diablo 4.
Yes.
See you soon, folks. Bye-bye.